Hi, I'm Gaz Boyd, and welcome to the Belfast Music Academy online video lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to be explaining how to play the Arctic Monkeys' huge hit, Teddy Figure. Now, this one's, again, perfect for beginners because it's not too complicated and it kind of gets your fingers in your left hand just thinking individually instead of kind of like in cohesive chords. So I'm just going to start off showing the main riff of the song here. Tricky, but trust me, it's really not too bad. So what we're going to start off doing, just do it nice and quiet to start off with, is get your first finger on your the 5th fret, of your bottom string. You want to hit that note twice. And then you want to sort of get your middle finger ready on the 6th fret of your next string down, your A string. And then after this note here, you're just going down to your 5th fret again, but this time on your A string. So you should have... And then once you've got here, you're just doing a little quick note on the 4th fret of your bottom E string, and then back to your 5th fret again. So whenever you put all those together nice and slowly, you've got... Now there's another part that only comes in the intro, which is this part here. So basically how that works is once you do your main riff 3 times, now what that works is you're finishing up in your 4th fret from your main riff, and then you just go to your open string and your E, the bottom E string here. So you've got... And again that's back on your 4th fret, and off again. And then there's another quick little note here on the 3rd fret of your A string before you're back into your main riff. So how that sounds whenever you put it all together, you've got... And then as the verse carries on, you're just doing that main riff over and over again. Into the chorus. Now, how the chorus works is we're going to be using something called power chords. Now, a power chord is something which, if you haven't done it before, it's used a lot in rock music, punk music, indie music. It's very common. So once you kind of master the basics of it now, it's going to open up a lot more doors for you in the future. Now, the first one we're going to do is our F power chord, which takes place up on the 8th fret. So we're going to get our first finger ready on the 8th fret of our A string. And then we're going to have to put our 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the D string. And then if you can also tuck your little finger in behind there, again on the 10th fret of the G string this time. So you should have 3 notes now, your 8th fret, your 10th fret, and again on your 10th fret. Okay, so that's going to be our first chord, and we're just going to let that ring out. We're just going to hit it once and let it ring. Second chord, we just take the exact same shape and we move it down 1 fret. So now our first finger's on the 7th fret, and our 3rd finger and our 4th finger are on the 9th fret. So that's again 7th fret A string, 9th fret of the D string with the 3rd finger, and the 4th finger sits in behind again on the 9th fret of the G string. So now we've got 2 chords which we just hit and let them ring out. We've got... chord takes place, again we're using the same kind of power chord shape. We've got our first finger on the 12th fret of the A string, our 3rd finger is now on the 14th of the D string, and our 4th finger sits in the 14th of the G string. Again we're only hitting these 3 strings with our right hand. The top 2 strings in the bottom E string, we just leave them out. But once we get up to the 12th fret, we're doing this here with the right hand. So just to recap that, we've got 1 hit on the 8th fret, 1 hit in the 7th fret, and we move that up to the 12th fret, and all downstrokes again with that right hand. Just chorus. The second half, pretty much the same as the first half, but apart from one difference. Again, we've got our 8th fret and our power chord. Let that ring out. Again, down to your 7th fret. And this time we move that shape down one more fret. We've got our 6th fret, first string. Was that 8th fret of the D string and 8th fret of the G string. So it looks like this. And again, that right hand's just doing all downstrokes. So whenever you put all that together, you should have. And that leads you into your second verse. Now, the thing about the second verse is it uses the same notes as you did in the first verse, but with a different rhythm over it. And that's kind of one of the genius things about Arctic Monkeys. They take the same kind of idea, but they just change the rhythm, which makes it sound totally different. So whenever we go into the second verse, if you remember our first riff that we had was. Now in our second verse we're going to be doing. Again, you can see exactly the same notes, but just we're changing the rhythm of them. So again, with our first finger on the 5th fret this time, we're going to be doing 3 hits in this time. So we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, and then again we're up to our 6th fret of our A string, and down to our 5th fret of the A string again. So that sounds like. Our second verse this time, and then that leads us back into our second chorus as well, exactly the same as the first chorus. Just let those chords ring out, and believe it or not, that's the whole song. You've got 3 different parts. Your main riff. Your main chorus, and then your second verse, and again the song structure finishes up with another chorus, going back into the rhythm of your second verse for the solo, and then a final chorus at the end. So once you get all your parts together, it's just really a matter of getting nice and comfortable with them, and then whenever you've got really nice and comfortable, you can think about the performance of them. Now, especially with the indie side of things and the rock, with the right hand, everything's quite aggressive, so don't be afraid to really hit those strings whenever you're doing those riffs. Like. I'm putting quite a lot of effort behind that right hand with the plectrum, because otherwise if you hit the strings too softly, it's just going to sound. Which is fine. I mean, technically you're hitting all the right notes, but it's just taking a little bit away from the performance. So just think about, once you get more confident with each one of the notes, thinking about. That concludes our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you.